How's it, guys? Welcome to this video tutorial on how to do an isometric construction. We're going to be looking at this particular model that you see now on the screen. This is a model that you probably already constructed in your textbooks. We have a circular prism or a cylindrical prism with a square hole that runs directly through it, through hole down the middle. So we're going to open up AutoCAD and we're going to get ourselves set up and ready so that we can draw within the isometric framework that CAD gives us. So we're going to open AutoCAD and it should look something like this for you. What I do is I press FN F7 or F7 depending on whether you're working on a laptop or what type of laptop you have, and that should take the grid away in the background. As you see, I don't like to work with the grid. I like to just have a clear background. I then type in the word units to get started, enter, and I make sure that I've got decimal and my precision is 0 and my inches are on millimeters, or sorry, my insertion scales on millimeters. Now I'm ready to draw according to the scale or standard that I need to draw. Right, and once that's set up, I'm going to introduce you to a few things along the bottom. So there's a bunch of snaps and commands along the bottom, some that you need to ensure you have on. And more particularly for today's drawing, we want to have the ISO drafting on. So we're going to click that, right? Make sure that's on. Then we're going to go across to our snap cursor, our reference points, and we're going to ensure that all of those are on and ready to go from there. These snaps are going to make your life a lot easier as you draw. So let's go take a look at what the dimensions. As we've established already, we have a cylindrical prism. So what we're going to have to ensure is that we have a circle constructed at the base and a circle constructed at the bottom, joined by two lines, and you'll see how that looks at the moment. So the circle has a diameter of 80 millimeters. So let's go back to CAD. We're going to come up to this little command here, which is going to be an ellipse. We're going to drop down and we're going to click elliptical arc. And then we're going to come down to this little menu, this little bar you have at the bottom in which you can type commands. And you're going to click on ISO circle. Then you're going to move your cursor. You're going to ensure that your cursor is somewhere in the middle of your page. Now, before I do anything here, I just want to show you something about the cursor. We clicked on ISO draft earlier. If I want to change the plane on which this cursor works, I hold down FN and F5, and you can see that that adjusts the cursor. If you want to do it manually, you can drop down and you can click the planes on which you want to work. That's entirely up to you. I just like to use a slightly more easier command. So now I'm going to specify the center of my circle. I've got the two planes on which I want to work, so I click there. I open up. Now it's in radius at the moment, so you'll see at the bottom it says specify the radius of the ISO circle. We want to work in diameter, so you'll see there's a blue highlighted for diameter. The first the letter D is highlighted for diameter. Either I can click on that, work with the radius, or I just go D and enter. And then I go 80 and enter, and it gives me the diameter. Now it's not completely closed, so I'm going to, well, you'll see because it's an ellipse, I've got to do a little bit more work here. So it doesn't matter which way you go. I'm going to come out to the right here and click. Now you'll see it breaks the quadrant because it's an ellipse. So I'm going to move my mouse back, go grab that, and just drag it back to the point at which I wanted to connect to the other, connect, and click, and there's my circle. Now we know the total height of this is 40, so I'm going to be very smart here, and I'm going to click the word copy, or say CO, that's a nice shortcut for copy, enter. I'm going to click on the circle, I'm going to click enter, I'm going to change my cursor, so I'm going to go F and F5 to get a nice vertical. I'm going to click on the midpoint, and I'm going to make sure my ortho is on, which it is, and I'm going to click. I'm going to make sure I get the measurement again. We were working with 40, no, we're working with 20, so I'm going to move up, and I'm going to click 20 and enter, and you can see now I've got the two circles positioned quite nicely. I didn't have to do any additional work there because as I had to do with the bottom, because I just copied what is already there. Now I've got those two in place. I'm going to click line command. I'm going to come to the side here, find the diamond. That's what we want, and we want to move down to the next one on the bottom to create that tangential the sides, right? And we're going to move on to the other side as well. Two line commands done quite nicely. The next thing I'm going to do here I'm just going trim. I don't need this line at the back here because it's hidden in this drawing, so I can go ahead and delete it. Right, the next thing I need to do here is construct a square hole through the middle. Oopsie, the wrong tab. There it is. And the hole is 40 by 40. So what we're going to do here is we're going to create that separately and then add it onto the top of the drawing. So we're going to go line command, right? And we're going to shift our cursor again to make sure we're working on the horizontal planes. And we're going to click, sorry, line command. We're going to click and we're going to go 40, enter, by 40, enter. Now it should get clever. So as I drag my mouse along here and I put my cursor over there, bring it back, you'll see where you get that green extension line. You can just click and it's registered. It's now created a flush or square for 40 by 40. So at this point in time, we're ready to go and move this on top of the circle. Now you'll see the center of the circle is there. All right. What I'm going to do, just in case I don't get a snap onto that circle, I'm going to click on that and I'm just going to drag it out to the side here. All right. So I know that the end of that circle, right, is the end of that line is the center of the circle. Right. So just to ensure that that's placed on top of that, the center of that circle. So I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to type and move, enter. Or you can type and move and then highlight. It's up to you. I want to take this. So I hover onto the halfway points on adjacent sides and then drag in. It should then give me a center mark there, center point. Now I can move this. Now we're going to force this to attach to that point over there. I just want to see if there we go. See, it does, if we hover across there, it actually does give us the center. So there was really no need to draw this line. You'll see as I hover around the outside of that circle. So I move onto that center line and I click it on. And there we go. So now that is snapped directly onto the middle. We know that it's 20 mils down. We're going to have some back corner detail. So I'm going to shift my cursor. I'm going to come down 20, enter, right? And now I can bring my cursor along this way until I come in. I'm just going to run it past that edge or just to meet that edge. It's up to you. And then I can then shift my cursor again, line command, and I'm going to come from that corner across. Right, there we go. Now what you'll notice is that is drawn perfectly as we need it as an isometric model. Now all we need to do is go and put it onto a layout so that we can PDF print this and upload it to our team's assignment. And that we'll do in the next video. So well done, gents, on your first isometric drawing. And let's go ahead now and create a good layout for uploading.